We have been seeing some interesting stuff within the games industry right now. We have these recent Game Pass successes with the likes of Expedition 33, along with the Oblivion remaster all within the same week. That is pretty nuts, and while the games are found on many different platforms as well, the success that we are just seeing here is just impressive. When these new and quality Game Pass Microsoft related additions, along with these Steam related numbers we're seeing for each of the games, and better yet, these are coming from games that I think are showing game companies, or something that we'll be seeing after all of this, is where many of the players in this industry actually want the games industry to be heading. With strong sales, player counts, and all of that across the board on many of these titles, including Oblivion, well, this might end up being the genesis of a shift within the games industry. I have a new feeling of hope, and it's currently an exciting one, and one that really kind of just reinvigorates you with this whole medium. When looking at the likes of Oblivion, something I want to point out is that the success and numbers that we're seeing here, I think it shows especially after the likes of, say, Starfield, that players are hungry for a more traditional Bethesda game studio type of game, down to the level of jank mixed with the brilliance in that type of entertainment. Now, I have not played Starfield, personally I want to, but the reception surrounding that title was more mixed than say the likes of Skyrim, or even what we're seeing now with the Oblivion remaster. I think if you just look at what happened with Starfield at launch, you could say that maybe players are not interested in that type of stuff anymore. They want something different. But then pivot and shift back the attention to Oblivion, and it would show that a massive amount of players most definitely do want these types of experiences, and maybe they want them more designed like they used to be back in the day. You have players that are nostalgic for this type of stuff, and then you have new players that never played any of these games before. Many of them only played Skyrim or never even played Oblivion, or this is their first time diving into the series. One thing is certain, is that you have a large group of players with many different backgrounds that are both supporting and then enjoying this remaster.
You. I've seen you. Let me see your face. Your destiny called this can only this who now will save us.
I think part of the success is that allure and sense of adventure that you get from these types of games, and it is something that Bethesda Game Studios does very, very well. Something I always enjoyed about the likes of Skyrim, Fallout, and even the Oblivion remaster is how you can pick a direction and then you have no idea what you're gonna find. What will that personal adventure end up being for that player? Will they find a cave that can then lead to something interesting? Maybe making those choices leads you to their doom, and then they decide to venture off in another direction. Maybe they decide to stick with the main story and see what that main, more curated narrative is like. Or they come across a set of side quests that excites them as well. You really don't know what you're gonna find. The vast open world might even be a bit intimidating for sure, like just looking at it, especially as a first timer. But then wonder that sort of mixture of direction and then directionless feel that it can have. Again, it all comes back to player choice. You have this big space. Where do you go? What do you do? How will you play it? And better yet, all of this leads to more replay value, as you might want to tackle this in a new way, or go through it at another time. Maybe you try and tinker with how your build is for your character, or in how you conduct yourself with your quests, or it just comes down to the choices that you end up making. Yes, these games have that level of jank to them. Honestly, outside of anything that really messes with your saves, the jank can be an element that adds to that charm, an almost unintended element of entertainment, added to an already impressive package too. Something else I wanted to point out is how the mod scene is very important to these types of games. In many cases, they can add on an infinite amount of replay value, and elements for the player to then infinitely, or what seems that way, to just play this game over and over again, or just add on more personal elements that they personally want to have. When looking at something like the Oblivion remaster, I was very pleased to see a success about a story that happened there. So in the new remaster, you can choose to either be a man or a woman, woman, but this is now done as selecting your body type. This is a little bit of the modern game nonsense being put into this older game, something I do not agree with either, but largely if the game is good and the remaster is well done, I can at least stomach something like this. But rightfully so, there were many players that pushed back on this and wanted it how it was and presented in the original, or how it correctly should be. On Nexus Mods' website, these mods were then taken down. There is a long history of this site taking down a lot of these types of mods, or stuff they don't agree with. Look, here's the thing, it's a mod, so you can elect to opt into it or not, and if that ends up making the experience better for you, then put forth the effort and then install the mod. For many players, they wanted to have access to having body type removed from the game. There was such a large backlash to the banning of these mods that Nexus had to reverse their decision. This was a smart choice, and in many ways it kinda shows a change in the winds, because I would argue too, if having body type in the game is important to you, then either find a mod or make one yourself so that you can have it that way. I don't agree with using body type, but if that's what you want, go ahead. PC offers those options. I wanted to highlight this because it shows the power that the players can have over a game or even a community and the greater medium. There is a lot to get excited about when it comes to the Oblivion remaster, both for the legacy and new players. You have this large grand game that you can then enjoy. That's awesome, and they have appeared to have done a good job with it. I think this shows that the publisher and developer, that these people very much still are hungry for these games, and I wonder if the success here will then affect future titles that they are either both working on from say the likes of Elder Scrolls 6, along with other games that are in the making. I know that Fallout 3 appears to be getting the same remastered treatment, which I am glad that is being worked on as well, because I for one love that game and I'd love to see it remastered. It was my first Fallout game, and I really enjoyed it. Maybe we will see one for New Vegas as well. Either way, I mainly wanted to celebrate what appears to be one of the many wins that we have had recently within the games industry. And if you're looking for something new for the player, this and Expedition 33 both seem to be really excellent choices to then dive into for some quality entertainment. It looks like stuff that was once great is still great too. Something else I wanted to mention was how there was a pretty big mod being made called Sky Oblivion, and Bethesda provided the team with copies of the remaster for free. What a great way to send the right message to the community, and essentially acknowledge the supporting modding communities too. Others should take note of this as well. What are your thoughts on all this? Have you tried the Oblivion remaster? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.